Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about something that nobody wants to talk about. We're going to talk about trans athletes, mostly in female sports. Let's get to this. Let's cover really quick, because it's probably a short topic of the rest of it, is that, or subtopic, is a trans male fighting men, or in general just competing. You don't really hear much about it because they're not going to do well, right? You might have one anomaly out of, say, thousands of athletes. But the thing you do hear about is a trans female, which is a biological male, fighting or competing against a female. They go, oh, well, that person's on estrogen, they're getting things changed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The bone structure is different. If you look at a trans woman, their hands are gigantic compared to a regular woman. So imagine if it's a fighting sport, right? The power that it could generate, it's just phenomenal compared to any female. You know, even if you have the top female fighter, even an average trans woman fighter is gonna be right around there. Okay, so right now you're seeing this in boxing, in the Olympics, where you're having a trans female annihilating the top female boxers in the Olympics. Okay, this applies to anything. If you take, say, a male purple belt, all right, and you have him go against a female black belt, what I've seen most of the time, that purple belt will annihilate the female black belt. Most of the time, of course, levels and experience and technique makes a different skill level. But if the purple belt's a real good purple belt, and so is the black belt, and it's a male purple belt versus a black belt female, the male's gonna win, especially if they want to. Okay, strength has a huge factor in it. It just does. Weight has a huge factor. I know within the boxing and stuff, you have to be in a weight division, but still, being a biological male puts you at a huge advantage. Okay, so this is not transphobic or anything like that. You know, for all the feminists out there that say that, you know, the future is female, where are they? Why aren't they protesting against this? Because they don't want to be transphobic? Whatever, you know, not my problem. But also, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So the thing is, it's like, okay, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to be a transphobe or anything. But it's like, how are you going to protect women, and especially in, let's talk about striking sports, okay? This is a huge difference. You know, let's just talk about basic, I don't know what you want to call it, anatomy, force, mass, you know, speed. So biological males always been faster than a woman. Otherwise, they would be competing equally in track and field. Now, if you take a biological man's hands compared to a female's hand, you're gonna have bigger hands. So when somebody becomes a trans female, they might alter some of their composition of their bone structure and stuff, but they don't do anything about their hands. So they have bigger hands than a biological woman. So now you have greater mass, greater speed equals greater force, greater damage. So these girls are getting hit by a trans woman with extra force on all levels, you know. So I don't know what's going to happen, but unfortunately, people aren't speaking up. So somebody might have to get unalived in one of the fights for something to really happen, and it has to be broadcasted for the world to see this murder happen online or on TV for something to finally happen. And it's sad because everybody should be able to compete in their sports with the ultimate safety guidelines, right? So a biological male fighting a female should not be happening at all. Also, you have women that have trained their whole life for the Olympics and now had their dreams robbed from them. You also have the same thing happening in colleges, where you have women in women's sports, obviously, and they've trained their whole life for their scholarship and trying to become professionals, or trying to just be the top athlete to help with their scholarship for school, and they're having it robbed by biological men. And their records broken by biological men. Where are all the feminists? You know, it's like, I don't know, if I had a daughter, I wouldn't want her competing against a biological male. It puts her at a great disadvantage. She might be the one person that beats one of them, but that's a rarity. So you're having all these women's or these females' dreams stolen from them, robbed from them, opportunity robbed from them, you know? So the easiest thing that they could just do that would just squash all this is make a trans division. That's it. And if it's not a big division, you only have 2 people fighting in it, one person right away gets first place, one gets second place. It doesn't matter. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. Once you get to the masters and the ultra masters, I'm just making that up, where you have people in their 70s competing against each other, yeah, there might only be 2 or 3 people in the division, but who cares? You know, it's safety for those people. There should be safety for everybody. So these combat sports with the striking, it's like, man, your brain's not meant to be bounced around in your skull. Why do you think boxers traditionally have a lot of injuries? Why do you think football players have a lot of traumatic brain injuries from concussions? You know, imagine getting hit by somebody who's twice as strong as you throughout a match. And this is what's happening right now. And in the Olympics, which this Olympics will go down, burn down in history for everything that it's doing, is you're gonna see these girls either quitting, because even one of the boxers said she's never been hit so hard in her life. And she's been boxing for a long time. So what is this saying to people? You know, where are the people that actually care and are not worried about speaking the truth and worried about anything besides making sure people are safe? Where are these people with these voices that speak so much about everything else? Where are they now? Years ago, you had a fighter who was a trans female fight another female and fractured her orbital bone. This is your orbital bone. Hit so hard where that broke. Imagine how much impact that is. I only know one person when I used to box as a teenager. One of the guys, Eddie, he was an amazing boxer, and he was helping the cops with some type of sting operation. And he got caught by that gang, and they beat him up. And one guy hit him with brass knuckles and punched him right there and fractured his orbital. His boxing career was over. Okay, and that person hit him with brass knuckles. You had this happen in the UFC. It's like, how is this okay? How is this glorified? This person should be expected to win. They're a biological male. Where is the outrage? Especially from the people that outrages their whole life. Why aren't they outraged about this? Protecting our females should be a #1 priority. Protecting our children, protecting each other. Nobody should ever put somebody where the odds are stacked against them and in harm's way unless it's in war, but not a sport. A sport has rules and regulations to protect the athletes. What has happened with that? From my years in either doing mixed martial arts and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, anytime you had a male spar with a female, not even at the same level, but if the female's here and the male's here, usually strength and weight makes a monstrous difference, you know? So now you're having people at this level competing, super dangerous. You know, the one thing I think the biological women should do is refuse to fight a biological male. If all of them got together and said, listen, I'm not fighting that person, things will change rapidly. Until they speak up and do something about it, nothing will change. There was a billiards tournament, I don't know if it was in Germany, where, I mean, this is not, to me, this isn't such a big difference, but this was a great thing that happened, is in the finals you had a biological woman versus a trans woman. The biological woman said, I'm not competing against a trans woman. That was it. She was, I don't care. You could give the person first place. I'm not doing that. And this is billiards. You can't get hurt from billiards, right? Skill is the most important thing. You know, so if you think about it, that wouldn't be such a big deal, but good for this woman for sticking up and not allowing it to happen. This needs to happen more. I know whenever I trained with women, I don't care what level they were, look at me. I mean, I'm probably about half the size I used to be muscular-wise, where I would have to really try to be careful not to hurt anybody by accident, because I know that I'm very strong. So, and my technique was great too. So whenever I trained with the girls, it's like I had to be careful where I didn't put most of my weight on them. I tried not to use as little strength as possible so I could train with them but not get them hurt. And by accident, a couple of times, somebody slips and somebody gets injured, you know, and I'm trying not to. So imagine now you have a biological male fighting a female going all out. So something has to change. The easiest thing to do for inclusivity is make a division for trans people. That's all you gotta do. Let them live their life, let them enjoy the sport that they love, but don't allow them to do it in a way that could hurt or kill somebody. It's just that simple. Why isn't this happening? And then also I know with the swimming, you know, with, was it Leah Thomas? And then the other girl who's been standing up against it, I don't remember, but they were forced in school to be in the same locker room. Why would you want your child in high school or college to have a biological male still with their twig and berries, their frankenbeans, exposed to the girls in the locker room? And if you complain about it, you need to go to get re-educated. This is super dangerous. Why aren't more of the students standing up to this? And the parents should be outraged. I wouldn't want my daughter to be forced to be in a locker room with a biological male. I don't care how they identify. So people need to start to stand up against this tyranny. Otherwise, somebody's gonna get killed. And the only reason why I made this video is because somebody's gonna get killed or put in a coma from this. You know, and I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I want everybody to live their life, make their dreams come true, but don't put somebody in harm's way when they don't need to be, just because you want a virtual signal or you don't want to say anything, right? What's that saying? You know, that saying, silence is consent. That's what's happening right here. You know, so that's it for this video. Hope it helped you just think a little bit. If it got somebody angry, I don't give a shit. I'm not saying anything that's bad. I'm not saying anything that's homophobic, transphobic. I just care about what's going on, and I want everybody to be safe. I know plenty of people. I live in New York City, so that's all I need to say. So I'm not against anything. I'm not for anything. The only thing that I'm for is for safety and to let people's dreams come true without putting them on the chopping block to get eventually killed. So I think we should just have trans divisions in every sport. That's it, especially one-on-one sports. That's easier. Team sports, a little more difficult. So if you like what I shared, if you don't like what I shared, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, leave a thumbs down. If you like my content, please subscribe. Hope all is well with everybody. Stay healthy, stay safe, and most of all, speak up for what's right.
You can win the lag. Yes, friend.
I was severely injured in a high school volleyball game by a transgender athlete on the opposing team.
All right, Asheville champion!
But yeah, I just kind of couldn't match, you know, Austin and some of the single track and, you know, the power. It's just not comparable.
Right now.
No, I think Raylan is.
Then reversals by both fighters.
These girls are getting right into it. Fox delivering the knees, and that's it. Fallon Fox. Holy cow. Game over.
Wow.
And a quick finish to our first women's $20,000 championship tournament fight.
Your winner by knockout, Fallon Queen Swords Fox.
How you feeling right now?
I'm feeling excellent. That was sweet, huh? Did you like that? Yeah! And I want to tell everyone else, I'm coming in this tournament. Every woman in this tournament better look out. I'm freaking coming.
I gave my all that match. I'm not gonna lie, these girls, they can wrestle.
6'2", weighing 100 kilos and blessed with a mighty kicking boot, Hannah Mouncey should have been a shoo-in to play at the elite level of the women's Aussie Rules competition.
In this upcoming kickboxing match, you have Lucia Riker against, who's a biological female, one of the greatest kickboxers that ever lived, against a biological male. I remember when I was training at the Dana Nasanto Academy, all the fighters there would go learn kickboxing from her, and they praised her to the gods that she was the most amazing kickboxer, how she would beat them up. This was Eric Paulson, Ron Balicki, Chad, I think Damon went there, all the people who are carrying the Jeet Kune Do lineage and were MMA fighters themselves. Check this out. One of the greatest fighters of all time, she's fighting a biological male. It's he versus she. And watch, he's not the best fighter out there.
Dames en heren, wilt u allemaal op uw plaats blijven zitten? Wilt u allemaal even op uw plaats blijven zitten?